Yeah, what's up, everyone? Welcome to FILMspiration, the place where filmmakers come to get inspired. My name is writer-director Edgar Ibarra. Let's get down to business. So, for all you ladies and gentlemen out there, we've got...
Amber Weinstock.
And so, Amber and I, you had been talking... Amber and I... Oh, that's how you know it's late. And we're starting this podcast already half dead.
You and I.
You and I.
Yeah.
You and
there
I.
You go.
What did I say?
We've been talking.
Oh my God. I'm just going to get some water. So we had been talking. I'm going to reach down for my water right now. We had been talking about a few ideas with regards to Christian Torres. What's going on, brother? How are you? We'd been watching...
We've been talking.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We're gonna take a sip of water.
Exactly.
Maybe that'll do you.
Red wine,
white
wine.
Look at our notes.
We'd been talking about many different topics that we'd like to talk about. That's like unique New York. You need.
Yeah. You need unique New York. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather.
Hello to our 3 people watching. So yeah, we'd been talking, Amber, myself, about, just topics that go on in the independent film scene. And if you all want to chime in, Jose Guadalupe, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? We're being watched in the LA area.
Nice.
Good to see you, Jose.
Hi.
Childhood friend. So we've been talking on the actor side. Amber's an actress. I'm a writer-director, among other things. But we talking about, so we thought we'd choose 3 topics to talk about tonight. Typecasting, finances, and telling your story. Or should you tell your story? Jose, I'm going to wave right at you, brother. Bam! There you go. Thank you for that thumbs up also, by the way. So, Amber, let's jump right into typecasting. So, for those who don't know, in the indie film, or outside of the indie film world, what is typecasting? What does it mean if I'm an actor or an actress?
Well, what I know to be typecasting as an actor, you might have certain physical traits, physical features that casting directors will hone in on and utilize you for just very generic roles, from a police officer to a drug dealer, or a prostitute, which you just found out today was one of my typecasts.
I've been
various versions of the Lady of the Night.
Stefan Oropeza, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, Stefan.
Stefan, you remember Cat Lady?
Yay.
That's right, coming up. So you've been typecast as basically a Lady of the Night, right?
Yeah.
Before, as I previously found out on the version that we just deleted.
Yeah.
But so I guess you get, like, as an actor and actress, is it correct to say in the following way? You get basically put into this category where, because of your looks, you're always going to be the cop, or you're always going to be this, or you're always going to be that. And Stefan, I want you to jump in if you can add to this, brother, in all honesty. So that's kind of how it works, I guess.
Yeah, generally. And I mean, it's really up to like the actor, because if you're kind of first starting out, like I was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's a role that like doesn't inflict upon your morals or values and isn't gonna like affect your career later down the road, then you might just embrace it, because you want to put your name out there, you want to get seen, you want to network, and
experience.
Experience. I feel like it's everything is a learning opportunity. You're not compromised, as long as you're not compromising yourself and putting yourself in compromising situations, then like go with it and put yourself into it, your personality into it, and then you might get seen later down a role for like a comedic actress, if that one director sees you, because that's just...
Amber, one of the things, sorry to cut you off, but one of the things that I was mentioning to you yesterday is that at the NALIP conference, NALIP, the National Association... Hey, Dominique, how you doing? Dominique is an actress out of the Vegas area.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, Dominique.
And we actually had a great FILMspiration a few months back where she talked about the disabilities and the challenges, that the disability community faces in acting. So that was a very particular niche. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention, Dominique. So as I was mentioning to you, I got to meet an actor. Full name, I don't remember, I can dig it up, but he's on one of these cop shows, CSI, something or other, right? And he tells me, he at the conference for the National Association of Latino Independent Producers, it's about coming up like May, every like May or April-ish, I think March also. Point is, he says, a lot of times it's the drug dealer. A lot of times he's playing Mr. Sal Valdenegro. How you doing, man? He says a lot of times it's the drug dealer that he's playing, and you know, he's a person of color, he's a Latino, and so I asked him, like, you know, what are your thoughts on that? And he said, you know, you just you do what you have to do until you don't have to do it anymore. And I had to digest that for a moment in my head. I'm like, okay, you do, and then it made sense. Like, you know, you get to a point where you're like, I guess at this level, and guess what? You get your pick of what projects you want to do, and if you can afford to turn some down, like the drug dealer, then you know, you turn those down. And so, you know, it's fascinating the way it works. What's up, DRC? We're being watched in LA also. High school friend DRC in the West Covina area. So you,
excuse me,
like you, what are your thoughts on you know, breaking outside of those typecasts and of the classic roles that you always get, Amber, and how do you do that?
Well, I think it's important, and I'm still working on this, to have character headshots. I mean, you want to have your standard commercial and theatrical headshots if you're doing stage, but also dramatic headshots. And so I'm still kind of building that, but also character shots. So if there are certain characters that you want to play, then you show the CDs by getting a photographer and saying, hey, I want those lawyer type roles. I want those quirky cat lady type roles. Yeah. Stefan knows what I'm talking about. I don't know who would, but soccer mom, you know, whatever. And then in addition to that, if you're building your reel, demo reels, then you include those type of roles in them as well. And if it's not something that you've already filmed, like in a movie or whatever, then you create those scenes as those roles. So like, get together with someone like you, write something, you can help them write something, or just kind of structure something and then improv it, as long as it's...
Sorry to cut you. Let's carry the thought. Sal Valinegro says, keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, Sal. We appreciate it, man. You too. Keep up the great work also, bro. So what I find fascinating about, you know, things like reels or specified reels, like, you know, this is your sex kitten reel, or like your tough girl reel, or your action reel, or your romance reel, or maybe a mixture of all of them mixed into one. What I find fascinating is that it gives people... casting directors the opportunity to imagine you in other roles, correct?
Exactly.
And I think that that's so important, because you're not asking them in that case to imagine you in other roles. You're basically showing them, like, look, this is what I could also like do, not just, you know, the hooker, or, you know, or the lady of the night. I'm sorry, I should
guilty,
but you know. And so, or with Latinos, the Latin lover, you know what I mean? It's like, that's what I kind of address that one, but you guys will see what I'm talking about in All We Have. And Stefan, chime in if you can, or if you want to, bro. But, yeah, I mean, I think blah, blah, blah. Okay. Red wine,
red
white
leather,
wine.
Red wine,
red,
white
wine. Red wine, white wine.
There you go. Center, focus. Got this.
The mouth will now resume. I think it's a fascinating topic because, you know.
That's my alarm.
Is it? Your alarm?
It is now 10 o'clock.
Is it nap time? It's sleeping. Oh, it's bedtime.
No.
You want to go get that?
That does take my medication time. But or if I haven't taken it, then I should take it.
Oh, okay.
I can grab that. I'm just going to take this off real quick.
So go ahead, and I'll keep on yapping.
I will be right back.
We can get Amber back in. Maria Romero, ¿cómo estás, Maria? So I think it's a very fascinating topic to hit upon, because let me give you an example. One of the characters, and Amber, jump in right here when you can. One of the characters that fascinates me over and over again is James Woods in doing those courtroom dramas. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, maybe, you know, hopefully I haven't. Christina, what's going on? How are you, Christina? Thank you so much for jumping aboard. Now, James Woods, I really love like the power that he brings to performances and whatnot. But
I know her.
You're going crazy over.
Yeah. Sorry.
And Christina was on last night too.
Yeah.
But you know, James Woods, he's always like the lawyer. He's always the guy in the suit. He's always the businessman, and so he kind of is typecast, I guess, in that sense, when I would like to see him as like the serial killer. Or you know what I mean? Like I want to see him do something so far out that maybe Christian Bale or Daniel Day-Lewis would do. And so, so I guess in a sense he's typecast. If I'm wrong, someone out there correct me, please. But I mean, that's what it kind of seems to me. Maria Romero, buenas noches, saludos, bendiciones. He says, good evening, hello, and blessings. And
hola, Maria.
Maria is from Nogales, Sonora, and she's kind of everywhere also. So, but very big supporter of journalism and the arts and whatnot. Muchas gracias, Maria, por estar aquí con nosotros. Thank you for being here with us. But so, I mean, what do you do? What do you do when like you can't get anybody else to see you as that typecast? Is that when actors and actresses run off and do their one man or one woman show to kind of show their a different side?
Yeah. I once early on when I got back into acting after kind of a hiatus for several years, I was in an acting group or class, and they said, if you want to be a certain role, find someone or do it yourself, write yourself into that role.
Yeah.
And then find people, like find a crew or find someone to create that. And I think that was really special. That was really a really good piece of advice.
Yeah.
Because you may want to lead roles, you may go out for lead roles and find that you're not getting cast because you're not being noticed because you don't have really anything to show for it.
Yeah.
So, so I think that was a good piece of advice, like really capitalize on writing your own stuff, or find people to help you write things that you can produce and be involved with.
Actress in La La Land, Emma Stone. So
yeah.
Emma Stone's
Love
character, she actually, I need to see that movie again because I really liked it.
Yeah.
The one time I saw it, I want to see it again. Emma Stone's character in the movie does exactly that, doesn't she? Like she runs off and she just does her one woman show, and and from what I remember in the story, like somebody there in the audience took notice of her, and then she went on to but the point is that she did her one woman show out of maybe frustration or a desire just to do
right, exactly. Because
I saw, I haven't seen too many. I'm going to move it here, Amber, just so that you're in the frame a little bit more. I haven't seen too many one-man, one-woman shows, I will confess. Yeah. But let me see. Christina Sosserman, great advice, Amber. Yep. If I could, there you go.
I know.
If so, I've not seen too many one-man or one-woman shows. I've read tons of articles, and so a lot of these reasons behind them are very similar to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The one I did see is John Leguizamo. It's I think it's called Latin History for Dummies. I think, and that was fascinating to watch because it was it was kind of like and I know I'm probably wrong on this, but it was an Apollo theater type of a setting. And so he did it in front of like a massive audience. But this thing was like, I want to say about an hour long. Wow. How do you do one show for an hour long? He did it. And on top of that...
though. Like that does take a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. And I see it more like in La La Land, she did it on stage. She first did it on stage. And then they invited her to do it, I think, in Paris. And maybe, I think that was still stage, or they might have turned it into a movie. I don't remember the whole story. But I've seen it, something in town we have here called the Fringe Festival. It comes around every January.
That's right.
I've seen more one-woman and one-man shows come across like stage festivals and performed in like a theater type setting or a stage setting. And yes, they fill an entire hour and are entertaining, but also telling their story in addition to that. So it's
that has to be
incredible.
very refreshing as far as being an actor and actress is like, okay, you're doing all the work, but you're telling your story and your thing. So that has to be super refreshing. Dominique, let me see. I see your comment, Dominique. I'm sorry, we're getting to it. Typecasting is something you deal with all the time as performers with disabilities or Asians, because that's kind of the role we usually get, and we are fighting to get roles outside that get roles other than, but gotta be careful when you brand yourself.
Yeah,
branding is a very big part of it, and that's a very valid topic, because it's like, okay, how do you brand yourself? Because let's go to directors from behind the camera. If I say Oliver Stone, you're gonna think anti-war, anti-Vietnam, crazy editing, in Natural Born Killer. So if it's not like the ultra violence, then it's deep into politics and whatnot. And so that's why it was kind of different / refreshing when he did Any Given Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Around the early 2000s. I'm like, what? A football? Oliver Stone doing a football movie?
Yeah.
But hey, Oliver, man, I guess when that mortgage is due, brother, you got to take the job, brother. So I'm just kidding. I love the way that, that was refreshing to do. And so he stepped out of that typecast, and it was very, very different to do. And then he most recently did 2 years ago or 3 years ago, Savages, I think it's called.
Yes.
Salma Hayek.
Yeah, Savages. That was.
Francisco Romero, what's going on? Samantha Gonzalez, for someone going into the broadcast / journalism field, what's some advice you have? Samantha, okay. That's okay. So journalism. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah.
That's my day job. Thankfully, I've been blessed in the world of journalism for 15 and a half years now. Samantha, so here's my 2 cents on journalism. Learn everything that you can and be open to everything. Here's why: because it's an ever-changing, ever-evolving world with regards to not just the storytelling structure, but how the storytelling comes together. Podcast is big now. Podcast is very big. Everyone listens to something, or not everyone, but a lot of people listen to something they like on podcast. So journalism could be in the form of podcast, or learn how to shoot, learn how to don't be above learning how to shoot and learning how to edit also, because when somebody sees that you have invested time into learning, you can't do everything. I get that, but when they know that you have done and mastered different aspects of it, then you are that much more marketable, as they say, because they say, oh, well, she can do this and this and this and this. And so granted, yes, it is a lot of work. Learn everything that you can. And when that's your preparation, right? Here comes a cliche: preparation plus opportunity equals success.
Yeah.
Ridiculously true.
It's so true.
Very true.
Yeah, you gotta lay the groundwork before you can do the footwork.
And that groundwork is definitely your preparation in that sense. The footwork is when the opportunity comes by. And so will you take that opportunity? Will you jump at it? Because I've known some people in my personal life who say, I'm going to hold off, and then they just let it go. And I'm just like, what are you doing? So preparation plus opportunity. So you got to prepare yourself. Always be sharp on your skills, storytelling, and also when the opportunity does, keep on knocking on some doors. When the opportunity does come around, will you take it? I hope you do. And and even if it's not exactly what you wanted to do within the field, that's okay. At least you got your foot in the door, so to speak. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me go to
Christina Choi. Networking. I could tell you that, and you want to be resourceful. So have skills that people value and are valuable to others. That's what I've found.
That's true. Yeah. That's true, because everyone's always up to something. Francisco Romero, make it a project.
Oh, that,
cabrón. No, that's an inside joke.
Is it?
Because I just started at Telemundo.
Oh.
Francisco, God bless you, man. God bless you, because he used to be the sportscaster for Telemundo here in town.
Okay, wow.
When I first started. And so, I was not in the mindset yet of, hey, here's your task. You got to organize these papers, get shots of them. And I said, well, I'm going to make a project out of it. And then so that's why he kind of throws that in my face. Right? Make a project out of it, he tells me. Because I'm like, what does that mean? And he says, Edgar, you just got to do it fast. You just got to do it fast. Just do it. Just get it done. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I got it. Yeah. So it's an inside joke. Okay. Oh, you got a little.
Good to know. What?
It was
Is it a bug?
No. It was like a little moth or something.
Oh, that's a bug.
Is it bugging you? Wow, congrats. Dominique, wow, congrats. Christina Sosserman, LOL. You're laughing out loud. Francisco, dude, we got to start working on Fernando Valenzuela's movie. That would be awesome, bro. That would be a movie, actually. Yeah. Dominique, wow, congrats. To Amber. Amber definitely deserves congrats. Francisco Romero, love you,
Thank
dude.
You.
Hey, cabron, I love
Something
you too.
Bugging you, Christina. She got it. Christina, so funny.
Christina slipping into the at work they call them Edgarisms.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've got cheesy jokes like crazy. Let me lay one on you. Maribel loves this one. Termite walks into the bar and says, "Where's the bartender?"
What? Oh, termite?
Yeah. Where's the bartender?
Oh.
Get it? You're gonna eat the bar. Where's the bartender?
Corny. Lame. Yeah. Oh god.
Here comes the hook. Pull me out.
Yeah.
Okay. Christina Saucerman, tell it to quit bugging around. Bug. You on Telemundo.
On your Telemundo.
On your Telemundo. On. Yeah. So Dominique, yes, Francisco was on our Telemundo.
And
here
you're welcome,
in
Samantha. Good luck. Break a leg and good luck in whatever you do.
The termite are him. LOL. The termite are him. Me? I'm a termite?
Yeah.
I'm a termite. Okay. Christina Telemundo, sorry. Termite ate him. Termite
ate him.
Termite ate him.
Oh, he was looking for, okay. Oh, a little snack.
So, we went ADD really quick.
We had a list too, guys, right here.
We did have the intention of being organized this evening.
See?
Daniel Arturo Lopez, what is up, brother? So do you remember the night we shot at the playground?
Yeah.
He actually came out.
Oh,
and
sweet.
So yeah, he's a friend. He's a friend of my wife's from years back. Comes out of the blue. I finally got to meet him that very night, and I'm like, "Are you guys here to support the film?"
Yeah.
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 You put a call, and I'm like,
wow.
I felt so dumb, bro. So I apologize, cool. Man. And thank you so much for coming out that night.
I'm excited to see that scene.
Playground.
Yeah. I couldn't be like in the foreground of that scene. I had to be like at the background.
That's
remember?
right.
Like, and Mina was so insistent on me coming out. I was like, but I'm gonna be in the movie later
That's
on.
That's right.
So that's what happened. I was like my back to the camera the whole time.
That's right. And I know we got shots of you, Danny. Back to the program. Christina says, "Back to the program."
That was a tangent.
Danny, you are awesome. Okay, so you know what? Let's go into So we kind of already transitioned into the item number 3. So jumped around a little ADD right. style. So telling your own story. Here's what I got to say about telling your own story. We all have a story, and everyone, even if you're not in the film world, you have an idea for a story. How many times have you gone to that writer friend, the filmmaker friend, and said, "Hey, you know what you should do a story about, or what you should do a movie on?" So, excuse me. I think a lot of times that comes from, as human beings, if it wasn't telling stories around the campfires or drawing on cave walls or writing novels or, now it's social media, throughout human history, it's been communication. It's always been about communication, just in different forms. Film, form of communication. So theater, a form of communication.
Yeah.
And so journalism. So the thing is that we have a need to tell stories, and I'm a very big proponent of, if you have a story and if you cannot be a part of a story, or you're not seeing the story that you would like to be a part of, again, that's a big fat cue that maybe you need to go out there and create your own stories. And so, Amber, as I read the comments right here to go and respond, what can you add to that? So,
like telling your story?
Yeah, like telling your story. Dominique says, "Sorry for the typos, London." It's okay.
No worries.
Fabulous examples, Edgar.
Oh, well,
as an actress, have you ever said, "You know what? I want to tell my story. I want to tell my thing." Yeah.
No, I mean, there was like one thing I did called Female Storytellers.
I've heard of it.
FST, FIST. And I thought it would be kind of cool to submit a story. And the theme was Let It Go. They give you like 10 to 15 minutes to get up on stage and tell your story. And so I had one particular story that I felt suited the theme, and it was something I wanted to get out there, kind of spreading awareness about, any medical issues or mental health issues, that putting them off, putting things off, like to try to, just ignore things, sweep it under the rug. I did something similar to that, and it wasn't good for me, and I knew better. But, so I did a story, and this is me, like, a 15-minute story. It was like supposed to be a 10-minute story, and it came out to like 16, 17 minutes long. And they're like, "Amber, you need to shave it."
Oh, really?
But, no.
But it sounds like it flowed out organically.
It did. It really did. And so that was a good experience for me because it was a chance for me to tell my story on stage, which I hadn't really done before. And I think it's important for you to kind of put yourself out there and take risks and be vulnerable. And that's what a big part of it was too, was to be vulnerable. But I knew that it would help other people, whoever came or maybe saw the video after the fact, and help them in kind of overcoming their fears about doctors or medical stuff or mental health awareness. So I think it's important because there are issues that you could share with people, to not feel alone, or isolated in your own stuff.
And what if you never spoke up, and so other people maybe never had the moment of clarity to say, or in saying, oh wow, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's other
Exactly,
people.
Yeah.
There's and obviously through that silence it's stigmatized and whatnot.
Yeah,
so when you're talking about it, I think the communication, when it comes out through you choosing to tell that story, I think that's awesome because it kind of brings people together. When I,
Sure.
In my case, I've always wanted to tell a different side of the U.S. Latino because there's such an insane tapestry of you've got your LGBTQ or your Latinos, you've got your fresh immigrant Latinos, you've got your Latinos, either U.S. Latinos that have lost maybe some language, maybe some culture throughout the generations, and so I wanted to show a rich view of tapestries, but I also or I want to show the view of the rich tapestry. No, that's it, Amber. We got to go now. I'm just She coughed.
People cough.
That's what I wanted to do, and I got the hint very early on that this was going to be something that I had to do myself, and that's fine. I actually enjoyed the process of taking on more and shouldering that amount of work, and so. Yeah. In all honesty, that's been my career outside of television in filmmaking. That's basically been it. I've always invested myself in something that I put my heart into, which is usually something 11 times out of 10 that I've written. But the point is that what about all of you? And Dominique, I know that you are writing your own stories as well, especially actors and actresses with disabilities. I know you have stories. Christina, I know you have stories too, and I think everyone's got stories.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think.
Otherwise, we would all be boring.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that's that's what gives people depth, and allows you to get in touch. If you're an actor, for example, in touch and empathize with these characters that are in the movies, and you bring yourself to it. You bring your own. Life to it
through the experiences that you've been through.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm all for it, and I like to say that if you're not seeing the stories out there, if you're not seeing the stories out there that you would like to participate in, that you'd like to see get launched, or that you'd like to support, that's probably a big fat hint that it's time to pick up. Maybe not a pad and a pen. Sit down at a computer and let's say you don't know how to write a story. Get on the Googles. You're gonna just type in how to write a story or how do I write, and all the resources are there. Basically, what I'm getting at is if you don't know how to do it, what do they?
I just as creatives, it's our duty to tell stories. Yes, definitely, Dominique.
Yeah. Big time, Dominique.
Okay, Christina, I love you. Yeah, telling stories, Christina. Okay.
You got it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and we want to hear. Yeah, we want to hear your stories too, Christina, and anyone else out there.
Very soon.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
And Christina, I know you've got experiences to write from, so don't discount any of that because actually I'm going to send you a short film you might be able to relate to. Danny, I have some short script from high school that I really want to transform to film.
Yeah.
Danny, do you want to direct, brother? Because the reason why I ask that is because I like to throw the ball back in other people's court. I can't talk. It is too late. Oh my God, it's going 11 o'clock. I like to throw the ball back into people's courts, not because I want to just kind of divert it back to you, but because I want to empower you and think about you empowering yourself through, maybe taking a serious analysis of your life, and if you want to step into the arts in that sense, because there's tons of stories, but what's missing, not in every case, but a lot of times, is the discipline to sit down and formulate that ability to develop a 3-act structure with the midpoint, the big gloom, the climax, the resolution, character arc, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, bro. I mean, maybe if I stop talking.
No, he said maybe because I know visually what he wants, so he'd be interested in directing because he knows visually how it should look.
Okay. All right. So I hear a director in there.
Yeah.
I hear a director in there who's
definitely.
if you imagine the shots.
Do it.
Speaking of, Alfonso Cuarón, director of Roma, so his regular guy, Emanuel Lubezki, also known as El Chivo, was not available. Did you know the story?
No.
So he was not. No. So Emanuel Lubezki, I hope I'm not screwing it up. Emanuel, if you're watching, I love you. Emanuel was not available. So Alfonso Cuarón said, the director, I think he wrote Roma, definitely the director, man the camera.
Oh, wow.
He was a cameraman, okay. Because he had a certain vision.
Exactly.
And he's like, hey, I'm going to go for it then, I'll do this.
Yeah.
And
and that's, I think, where it comes to kind of knowing a little bit of every department that you're working with or working in, is whether you're an actor, a director, a writer. Because I'm taking a film production class here with Avi, and that's really helpful because I'm learning behind the camera stuff. I'm learning lighting, I'm learning production assistant type things, some about the camera, and so it's helpful. Yeah.
Danny,
it's good.
Danny, for filmmaking classes, where can you come? Little plug.
Film Actor Workshops, 1111 North Main Avenue.
Okay, and that's right at Speedway in Maine, right next to the Circus Academy.
We have everything from Acting 101 to film production classes, like I was talking about. What else do we do here?
Like you said,
a scene study class.
They literally do have
we have it's an all one-stop shop, all inclusive. So.
To learn so many aspects, Danny. I actually started to step into it back in September, had to step out of it, but I can tell you, if you look at the menu of things that they offer, everything from the actual filmmaking to Acting 101, bro, drop by. Amber's right here.
Yeah. And kids acting classes I teach here, so if anyone has any children that are interested in getting in front of a camera, then that's my forte when I'm not on screen.
How do you do it with kids? Is it difficult?
It's very basic. It's a lot of games. We do emotions activities to kind of get them in the zone, and then real simple scripts and short monologues. Just get them used to being on camera. Get them kind of warmed up to the idea.
I can see that, especially the games part.
So much fun. But they're also learning at the same time. So,
Danny says, thanks. I really want to know where to start or some guidance. Right, Film Actors Workshop, brother. Film Actors Workshop. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. We'll do.
Okay. See you soon, Danny.
Danny, we're gonna put the information to the workshop in the description of the video once the Facebook Live is over. So all of this kind of goes back to so you learning so many aspects of film production. Yeah, that's kind of a way of empowering you to, going back to our point, telling your own story, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Because then when it comes to if I ever wanted to produce or direct something that I've personally written or had someone written. Now you got me wrote for me or whatever, then I can have a better idea of visually how I want to see it or who I want to be involved and help.
And if you ask me with the basic, for example, all we have, it is no secret, the budget was $10,000 with some assistance from the public. Thank you so much for everyone who jumped in to assist. Yeah. But still, though, an entire feature film for $10,000.
That's nothing.
There are other ones that cost $20, $50, $100, etc.
Compared to some out there.
But I mean, I think we have like if we were to look at Tucson and ask ourselves this one particular question, do we have everything here to make a movie on a consistent basis within the filmmaking community? Cameras, and I'm referring to things like, you know, the talent, actors, in talent behind the camera, cameras, editing systems. We have the internets. We have venues to show the movies. Do we have everything that we need here in Tucson to tell stories? Yes,
it's possible. Yeah, it's definitely doable, and plenty of directors are getting out there and doing it, and they are having on even less budgets, on like $1,000 budget or $5,000 budget. I've heard, you know, full length features getting out there, and they're not just, you know, just some rinky dink, you know, shot it on my camera phone or whatever, which I mean it can be, but possible. Make sure you have good sound. Lighting's important too.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's definitely happening. Like, it's not just doable, but it's happening.
And I think ultimately, I mean, that's why I don't. If the cameras, the editing systems, more importantly the talent, and especially in this day and age, being a human being alive right now at this point in time, with the internet and all the platforms we have available, good God, we're talking to you guys through a phone right now.
Yeah,
and one light, like literally a phone.
We do, yeah. We are using a phone, but we have good sound and we have lighting, so.
And it's all very basic, but the thing is that we have everything to tell stories, and so you just kind of have to do it. But you also want to pump out good stuff too. You don't want to pump out something that's
quality.
Gonna be shoot for something good, obviously something quality. Unless you're shooting to like for a Sharknado, which is like so bad it's good, then that's a whole other ballpark. But it's still a very valid genre because it's still a thing. So
we had a joke on that note. We were talking about snakes when I was young.
No.
I just have a quick story.
Where's this
So
going?
I was 5, and I had a hallucination after having a 105-degree fever of snakes all over my bed. Yeah, and then we started talking about how there's a measles outbreak, and I was like, "Hey, maybe the snakes are bringing it in." We got measles snakes, and then even one better, someone said, "Hey, what about snake NATO?" Like a tornado of snakes.
That would be creepier.
That had measles.
Oh my God, Amber.
Maybe that's too much.
No, I like it. That's funny. Like my oh my God was like how much weirder can we get? You know what I mean?
Just amp it up. I don't know. Like there are genres like that, but people, cult movies and stuff. But no, you do want, if you're not going for something like that, if you're going for something, more quality, more real.
Danny hates snakes. And Christina says yes, snakes.
I'm not a fan. Snakes, rats, mice, spiders, they can just go away from me.
By the way, side note, I was filming a story about Sabino Canyon, being safer on the canyons, hiking and everything. Yeah. And I was filming a rat. So I saw a bunch of people. They stopped on the road, right? Turns out a rattler was just kind of slithering its way across, right? And I'm looking through the eyepiece, and some lady almost stepped on it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Well, it turns out this poor lady didn't realize what she was talking to her husband in her earpods, her AirPods. Yeah. And so be careful with the snakes out there.
Exactly. No, it's getting warmer, and they're going to be coming out soon. What else? Who else we got? Christina's terrified.
What did I do?
I don't know. You just have to swipe it. Oh. No. There it goes.
Oh God. Okay. Callie!
Hey, Callie!
Callie, how you doing, Callie?
I need to get with you about questions on location, girl. So I'll message you.
So yeah, I'm a big proponent to telling your own stories. Callie was definitely, and Stefan, testaments to something that I had in here, and I had to just get it out, and they were kind enough to say, I'll roll with your crazy idea. And it kind of worked out in both ways. Callie says anti-vax snake.
That's where the story came out. Because my mom is convinced that it's a vaccine injury that I had when I was a kid, and that's what caused some of my anxiety and depression. And but Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for outing you. I love you.
And anti-vax. Callie, you got to write that one.
No,
I can't get too involved in that heavy social issue because I can't. Okay. Callie. Hans. Hi guys. What's Hans?
I'm not sure.
Like Hans and Franz. We're here to pump you up.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell your own stories.
Yeah, I was telling a story. Let me just make
story.
sure we didn't miss any more.
Okay.
I think
Comments.
Terrified comments.
Callie
must have a heart attack. Okay. Well, don't have a heart attack, Christina. We don't want that. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That was supposed to be a ha ha ha. That Hans. It was a typo. It was a autocorrect.
Hans and Franz. It just goes to show, like, you know, I have this problem with my wife. She'll say one thing and I'll literally stare at her, knowing that I know I heard the incorrect thing.
Oh,
And sometimes it'll be a 4-letter vulgarity.
Oh, I have those moments. Yeah.
But then I said, okay, what did you say?
Yeah, exactly.
And she knows that I heard something. She's like, what did you hear? And I'm like, oh, so it goes
I actually end up like saying what I don't. I'm the opposite. I say what I don't mean. Like I say the vulgarity rather than what I mean. What I mean to say.
I couldn't play a part in the movie Snakes on the Plane. Movie for all tea in China.
Oh, she loves tea. So she wouldn't play the part even for all the tea in China. That's what she's saying.
Oh.
Well,
I didn't know that.
Cast you in that one.
So you're a big tea fan.
Maybe we'll use fake snakes.
Item number 3. Since we're all millionaire filmmakers.
Yeah.
That's right. So we went from 1 to 3. No, now we're going to go back to 2. Go ahead and show them the list. So we
I
promised
did earlier,
guys,
but this is what we're supposed to. We were supposed to be keeping to tonight.
We
guys.
promised everyone
3 items.
We actually organized our thoughts. We're so proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
That's right. We organized our thoughts. Okay, so we'll skip around a little bit.
We'll jump up. Yeah.
Let's go to item number 2, which is actually item number 3. But
for this.
Finances. So since we're all millionaire,
made of money,
actors and actresses on the rise. You know, how do you do it, Amber? How do you go about it? Because, you know, there are different financial situations. You've got your people that say, you know what, screw the conventional job. I'm just going to do the acting. And that's like, that's gung-ho. Like, that's hardcore.
I praise those. I don't know how they do it. And I praise and kudos to those, like, who just are like, there's no plan B. But some of them make it and others fall hard. But
sometimes some people need that, right? Sometimes some people need to get rid of plan B.
Just right? I mean, and just to be just real gung ho about it and like dedicated and things. But yeah, that's not me. No. But go you if you did that. So
that's brave because I've always been on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
You know, I've got the day job, thankfully. Very blessed with my career in television for a good long while now. But I think about the other side and I think, wow, that's courageous. Like, that really, truly is courageous. And I don't know if I could ever do that. But then again, here, let's consider this. So I've got the day job and I do the filmmaking on the weekends. It's always been the case. Wife's always supported me in that structure, right? But here's the thing. If you really think about it, this is where we hear about, like, for example, filmmakers in the big time, in the East Coast, the West Coast, when they're not shooting a movie or their passion project. As Clint Eastwood said, you do one for the studios, you do one for you. One for the studios, one for you. And I had to think about that. What was unclear to me for a few years was, he's talking about the money. Like, you know, so you got to make money. So he's doing one for the studios, one for him. And so I thought that's pretty neat. So in a sense, he's got a day job. You know,
sure. I mean, it's related, but like related to what he does.
Very,
like you're
obviously
working at the studios, and it's related to what you do.
Yeah.
I've had some side hustles and day jobs that I can like utilize skills that I learned to take back to acting. Like, so yeah. I have multiple side jobs. But like right now I work at a call center and we dictate conversations for the deaf and hard of hearing. And so I feel like the skills I'm learning for dictation and having to speak clearly and really emphasize what I'm saying so that the computer can pick it up and type it out, is going to help me on set.
You're taking something away from that to ultimately have it
yeah.
still help you in
it
your acting
does.
life.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have the background in like special education, working with children with special needs, that I kind of understand. And yeah, well, and I'm working with kids here in the kids acting. So yeah, taking that, I've done other random stuff that have put me in front of people, like, and done more customer service type stuff, just more sociable and whatnot, getting out there and being comfortable in front of people. But yeah, so you do you, like, and if you need to have a side job and do it part-time, or do acting full-time and have a part-time job, you're doing double duty, then you're me.
But I think every single person has to, like, there's not one size fits all. It's not one solution for everyone. I think you kind of have to go out there, feel it out, see what works for you in particular, not what works for everyone else, what works for you, and you know, what works for you might not work for somebody else, and vice versa. And so you know, like, basically find what works for you with regards to, you know, making money and whatnot. And frankly, I'm, you know, unless somebody's going to drop a boatload of cash into I'm very happy with the way I have things structured in my life, which kind of goes back into like last night's talk about, you know, work-life balance. But, you know, what do you say to those actors and actresses out there, Amber, who maybe get discouraged? And we're like, hey, you know, when's my ship come in?
Just keep at it. You know, if you put in the hard work and dedication, see, it's late, dedication and hard work, then it's going to pay off. And as long as you put in the effort and give it what you've got, if you need to, you know, have a side hustle, have 5 side hustles or a part-time job somewhere, I'm a testament to that. You know, just like 2 or 3 years ago, I got into this and was just doing community theater and picking up little like things here and there, doing some unpaid stuff. And now, I mean, I have actually, you know, got a couple of, you know, SAG films under my belt that I've done background on, or a small role coming up for a TV show, like primetime television. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, and that's just in like 3 years, you know, 3 years time. So keep at it, do what you do, and it'll pay off. Like, don't get discouraged. It's a choice.
I think one of the things that gets people, or you know, that one of the important elements to get through those discouraging moments and to just stay strong and keep on going is you got to do something that you love. Yeah. Like if filmmaking is your thing, and if acting is your thing, and to the point where when you're not doing it for maybe a few weeks, if not a few months, and you're empty right here, that probably means that it's fulfilling to you. Yeah. So while you're doing something that you love, and even if you have a day job, as long as you're doing something associated to what you love, and you're taking something from that and you're applying it to your passion outside of work, then that's just the best. Because when you're happy doing something, even if it's for money, because we all got to pay the bills, when you're happy though doing something that that just brings you joy or fulfillment to some degree, then, you know, cliche as it sounds, then you'll never work a day in your life, right? Yeah. And so I think that's so important, because then the burden isn't as much, because you're enjoying it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
and no, and you do come across those paid, you know, it's not that you don't get paid. You only take the free stuff. You only take the free stuff. Yeah. Once you kind of get a name for yourself, you get a footing, then you can be a little more choosy, like, you know, like I am with jobs. And I have, you know, supplemental as far as acting goes for, you know, the past year and a half. I've been with a murder mystery group that is paid, and then I get, you know, things here and there that I get paid for. So, not to say that you only take the free jobs. There are some that'll come along and pay you. And
let me speak to the people on the back side of the camera. Everyone, please pay your actors and actresses. Yeah. I got to a point back in probably 2014 where I made a little commitment to myself, and I said, okay. Yeah. I was doing short skits back then, and I said, okay, I'm going to pay people now from here on out. And the first time I ever paid anybody, it was a $20 bill. I put it into their hand and I said, thank you. and that's it. Like, thank you so much for acting in my, and they actually felt bad taking it from me because it was the first time that I had ever paid them, and I'm like, I know it's weird, but get used to it though, because so you guys make the commitment to feed and pay your people. God, at least feed your people, in all honesty.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So
yeah, you don't want hangry actors. I think we had some comments.
Yeah, Dominique. Let me see, Brad. Okay, Dominique, it's a turn off for me when indie productions DM me on Twitter when it's time for campaign without even saying hi to get funds. As far as getting, oh yeah, that's true. Yes, persistence and discipline will get you there. Yeah, so Dominique, let's definitely talk about that. The first part of that. This kind of goes into that other thing we were talking about of the million things that we mentioned. the world of what can you do for me? Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, you need to cut that shit out. I'm sorry to cuss. Yeah, there's no bleep on the Facebooks right now, but I'm sorry. That's how passionate I feel about it, because it's like, where are the manners? Yeah. Where are the manners? Why is it, what can you do for me? Why? Whatever happened to, you know what? Let me see what I can get you. Let me see if I can hook you up with some burgers at least, or make sure that you're fed and that you're taken care of on set. But again, committing to just paying somebody versus just asking, give me. It's like, yes, I get it. We all get it. We all need stuff. We all need money coming our way and flowing our way. But the thing is that there's a certain way to go about it, and there's a certain way to definitely not go about it. Like, don't hit me up just because you want something. Like, literally just say hi every now and then. Like, exactly. I'm gonna help you out, and if I have like an extra $5 or $10 to donate to your campaign, but don't get out of the what can you do for me. Like, in all honesty, and let me be brutally honest. I can't give everyone money, but what I can give you is maybe some of my time, maybe some of my attention, maybe some of my, if you're seeking some advice, these things are free. Time costs you a little bit of time, but that's kind of about it.
Rich that just signed on. Hi, Rich.
Hey, Rich, how you doing, man? But like, let's get out of that mindset of what can you do for me? How about like, hey, what can we do for each other? How can I help you?
Like a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
I think between directors and actors and crew and anyone in like the industry or professional, world.
You guys, when I go to and I know, weird analogy out of like left field, but when I go to Burger King, I promise you, I get a Whopper because I give them money, not because I want to ask them what can you do for me without me doing something for you. Like, it's an exchange. It's an exchange. Why can you understand that in Burger King, but at the same time you can't understand that when it comes to the arts? Like, don't like you, and if you gave me, if you were one of the kind people that donated to my campaign, one of the perks was I'm going to call you up. Oh. You're going to get to talk to the Steven Spielberg over here, you know what I mean? And so, not quite at that level, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give you 10, 15, 20 minutes of my time. Let's just chat. If you gave me money, I want to know about you. Like, why do you care about my movie? Even that's an exchange. Jeez, Dominique, great point. Got to get out of the, what can you do for me? Got to get out into the what can we do for each other.
I think Christina was just saying another, what you give and help people to their dreams and passion will come back to you in the long run. Yeah. True. I agree with that. Very true. Being appreciative, like saying thank you. Like, a lot of people don't say that word anymore. It's kind of fallen off the vocabulary.
And please,
that'll
too.
go a long way. Yeah, please and thank you. And
it's you know what's funny is that let's just attack this head on. It's really funny that please and thank you and just having that consideration for maybe what you can do for somebody else, with or without expectation, hopefully without expectation. Please and thank you are such foreign concepts now, and now I sound like my parents, but at the risk of it, but oh well. Like that, there are some people now that excuse me, that feel like they got to talk you up and talk a big game and try to impress me with a big game, and it's just like, no, dude, you don't have to do that. You just, what impresses me is when you say please and thank you, and You don't have to talk big money and talk big this and talk big that. Like, you know, it's literally just about please and thank you and doing things without expectation. And, you know, if I can hook you up or if you can hook me up, great. And if not, then that's fine too. You know what I mean? It's about having a good human coexistence, you know, money aside. And maybe it's not money, maybe it's a trade, you know?
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
It could be that too.
Yeah, you have skills that they can use, and they might have some skills that you can utilize, and you come together as a team, and there's no I in team.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I see that. I've seen more of that, not as much as I'd like to see, but I've seen more in that, you know, in film and other areas too. So just continuing in that.
Now, Amber, let me speak with regards to finances in our third area. Let me speak with regards to my side of the fence, the people who have the day job but still never gave up on doing the film thing. It's the weekend thing, and you're a weekend warrior. That's fine. But let me give you guys my breakdown of like what my day looks like. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah. Have I told you about this?
I think so.
Or did I tell you yesterday?
I should give you my weekend breakdown because I'm the same weekend warrior.
That's when a lot of the action goes on, right? For independent film.
Oh, yeah, usually they want you like weekends and so.
I'm getting up at 4 a.m. to edit from 4 to 8 a.m. And somewhere between 8 and 9, I'm getting ready, feeding the dogs, getting my lunch packed, etc., taking a shower. Driving to work from 9 to 9:30, working from 9:30 till about 6:30. And by 7:15, I am at the studio, which is right next door to the third from the right, talent agency. Actors and actresses, you'll hear a little bit more about this, but basically I'm now putting together reels for all you who need a reel out there with content. And also auditions. So you need an audition filmed and then sent off or Dropboxed to wherever. I handle that too. Let's say I'm out of there by 10:30 and I'm home by 11 at night. And so basically what I'm getting at is I could choose to, you know, just say, I just want to focus on this. We're basically like, heaven forbid, I didn't want to mention, I'll just say it, quit my job. I don't want to do that because there's something about having that structure in my life to abide by, and some people need that structure.
Yeah, I definitely I need it. I definitely do.
Because are you a person that's lost without the structure?
Oh yeah. This past year, I tried to go without it, and I fell off the map. Like it just, I need a little more of a routine, a structure.
I think there's a balance in that. Like, you know, as human beings, we need that structure, but we also have to be spontaneous and open to that type of stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me see, Christine.
She's got something else.
Talk can be cheap. Treat people as you would like to be treated. Yeah. It's not rocket science. It's in the Bible. Golden rule. You know, someone had it right. Like, I don't know, a few millennia ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Not more than 2 millennia ago, or actually maybe just over, but around there, like that. Ballpark. What were we talking about?
Going back to having a structure, you said you can just quit your day. You can just quit your day job and go full force, but
I don't want to because I like that structure, and so for me having that structure, and thank God that financial foundation is such a big part of my life, and frankly, being a cameraman for one of your local news stations, I basically see it like this. You were talking about, you know, what you do at work and how that translates into your film life.
That's kind of how I can take it, and how what brings me to work every day, day in and day out. So, not that I'm helping people. I know that I'm helping the deaf community.
Hard of hearing. And you see, even that's a big part. That's a very big part of, like, you know, the enunciation and really putting your words out there with the correct tone of voice, and with the, you know, like that plays so much into reading scripts, reading scenes, auditioning, bringing your verbiage in and whatnot. I think that has so much to do with, and I think it's neat how it translates on over to film.
Well, and I hear a lot of different stories of people, like, because they're conversations that I'm overhearing. So I hear a lot of different stories. I get, like, kind of ideas that way. I hear a lot of different accents, like people from all over the country.
Really?
And so that's interesting, because then I can that makes me kind of think of characters. And like I recently wrote a short film with like some characters that reminded me of a phone conversation. But yeah, so it's kind of cool that way too, because it opens me up to like different cultures, and there's a lot of like melting pot.
I think that's great when you can take these aspects of your life and then incorporate them.
Yeah.
I go to film school every day.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I go to film school every day, and I'm so blessed to be able to go to film school every day. That's literally the way. Like it's not cheesy, right? But it's not work. Mm-hmm. It literally isn't. And so I literally go to film school every day.
I'm hearing stories every day, like essentially. So it gives me a better idea of maybe how to tell my own, or
that's true.
Just like understand my own. I don't know. I had a conversation on Monday, and it kind of threw me into a tizzy because it sounded so close to my own issues with my family right now. Like both my grandmothers have dementia, are wheelchair and bedbound, and
wow.
On their way, they could be on their way out. And so I had a call like that on Monday that kind of threw me into a tizzy. Was a similar like situation, but so I came to, and I'm better for it. But that just gave me like again, other people are in the similar situations, and I can are not relatable.
Yeah.
So but
so find finances, right? Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman.
Finances.
Red wine, white wine.
Don't be broke. I mean, don't be a starving artist.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about this angle too. I think artists, yes, a lot of artists are not that great at being business people or asking for money. But the thing is, fact of the matter is, here's what I think. I think we need to be better business people, and we need to give ourselves that worth because, frankly, it might go back to, and you tell me if I'm reading a little too much into this, but it might go back to like, self-esteem or things like that, to when you say, no, it's okay, you don't, it's like, at some point, you do want to cooperate, but the thing is that you have to give yourself that worth. You really, really do. Not because you want to be a jerk, not because you want to, because you're a bad person, but guess what? Because you got bills to pay too. You got to keep a roof over your head and food in your stomach, even more so if you have kids or a significant other. Guess what? It's human stuff. That's it. So there's nothing wrong with giving yourself the worth to get paid, to then provide, at the very least, a roof, food, and clothing. Simple as that. I think we had some comments here.
No, I was noticing that there was something about lifestyle. I think Christina again. Thanks, Christina, giving us stuff to talk about.
Structure is majorly needed and can be applied to everyone's lifestyle. So true.
Yeah.
Dominique.
Ooh. Ooh. Is that
Oh, love.
Ooh. Hearts. 2 hearts. Yeah.
Ooh, 2 hearts. We'll give you 3 hearts right here. Yeah, I mean, what can you all add with regards to structure and, again, we have to give ourselves that worth. You know what I mean? We really, really do. And that does lead back into taking film projects like, and finding your worth or knowing your worth. If say a director is willing to pay you and they say, hey, what's your day rate? Like I had that recently. Same here.
It's happened to me. And I went to Mina because I was like, well, I don't know. It was a crew position.
What should I say?
I was a crew position. Exactly. What do you think? Like they're asking me because I was going to be too wrapped up in other paid things this upcoming weekend. I was like, if it's going to come into the week, it needs to be worth it for me, not like something just free for all.
Yeah.
And so I told them so, and they actually asked me, well, right now it's the passion project, but for the future, like if I had you in mind, I'm curious, what would you charge?
Yeah.
That's when I went to Mina. It's good having an agent because they clue you in on this kind of thing.
And they get you to think, okay, what kind of an hourly value do you want to give yourself? And it's funny because she indirectly prompted me to think about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is right? Like about a year back, and I'm like, I never thought about that. And then, now I do have my number and whatnot.
Well, and that's the thing. What she quoted me was like, woo! Well, I mean, was nice.
Yeah.
Like it was double what I make at the call center. But I started thinking about it. And I'm like, but it's a more meticulous, like what they wanted me for, the position was a more meticulous crew position and very detail oriented. So I can, so actually I started thinking, I'm like, okay, like that sounds about right then for what the work is.
Yeah.
So.
And this is the way I look at it.
Hey, Laura.
Laura, hey, how are you doing, Laura? I saw that she had, I think I waved to her.
Yeah.
When she came aboard. When it's been a process to shed that skin of, feeling bad or ask for money. But because you know what? Yeah. I think of a part of it is that we're just not, when it's new, it's new. It's new to you, period. And so you got to step into that. And there's a lot of feelings and emotions and psychology that steps into. Maybe for some other people are like, nope, no feelings. Just give me my money or I'll punch you in the face.
Right.
Not me, but you know what I mean? There are better and maybe not so good business people out there, but the point is you have to give yourself your worth, because here's the thing. If someone were to turn those tables if those tables were to be turned and I was watching somebody else in their position ask me like, or tell me like, oh no, I feel bad for charging, I'd be like, no, you need to eat food. Like
exactly.
You need to pay electricity.
Yeah.
Do you feel bad about that? Because Tucson Electric
bills.
Power doesn't feel.
They don't care.
Yeah, like
they don't really.
You can't put sympathy into that envelope, lick it, and then put it in the mailbox. Like, no, you don't pay your bills with that. Like, I'm sorry, you got to pay your bills, and so it really just comes down to basic human needs. Now, if you're ripping somebody off and asking for like way too much for your products and services, bad, shame on you. Don't do that either. So that's where you got to find that sweet spot where it's fair for both parties. And again, maybe it's not money. Maybe it's a trade. Maybe it's...
I've done some of that too before. I've offered, I think in the past, I've offered just work trade.
Yeah.
Like again, find those skills that may be valuable to, other people, and then say, oh, hey, like you have this skill and I have this skill, so maybe if we collaborate, or if you can do this for me, I'll try to help you out. Scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's symbiotic.
I would say and in doing that, before you step into like an agreement like that, it goes back to, what is your day rate? What is the worth, and knowing the worth of your labor per hour. What are you going to do? How much is it worth per hour? And so that way, when you come to the table of dialogue to negotiate, you know exactly where you're coming from, versus my response, as it has been in the past, I don't know how much I want to charge. Well, now I know. Now I need to know how much, But, like, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know how much I'm going to charge. But now you know, even if it's a trade, like, how much time to trade. You know what I mean? And so just a thing to keep in mind beforehand.
Okay, Dominique said, we put a lot of work into it, starting with pages of scripts and on set, long hours. It's great. Yeah.
Feeling like when you're starting out here, you get some experiences, but you get to a point when you only work on union projects and move on. Growth. Yeah? Yeah, that's true. Dominique, especially that last part, you get to a point when you only work on union projects. Not from the acting side, but I definitely understand, because, if we're all doing whatever we're doing behind the camera, in front of the camera, if we're all kind of doing it, and it all first started off because we love it. We love it. But then you get to a point of like, okay, I've done enough for your stuff. It's time to get paid. And it's okay to, as long as you're not a jerk about, demanding or asking for pay or something so ridiculous, then guess what? It's okay to be at that point where you're just like, I'm like
I said, I'm kind of at that point right now where, like, unless it's just something I have time for, I'm available for, and then but if I've already got a lot on my plate that week and I'm just like, ooh, it's got to be worth that to me, like they can find other people to do something for free. There's plenty out there who will. But so I'm not like trying to be rude or mean, and they've usually understood, like, hey, I get it.
a great dialogue, and going off of that, a great dialogue that I recently had with somebody who has worked in Hollywood for, I think it was like 40 years. Recently had this conversation about a week ago now. This guy said that, you know, every now and then he'll get hit up for free work, and it's just, he's pretty direct with his friends, and he'll say, okay, I'm gonna help you out, but disclaimer, if my phone rings, his words.
Oh, yeah.
If my phone rings,
like I said, yeah,
and there's a paycheck on the other end of that line, I'm sorry, but I'm dropping your crew. So do you really want to ask me, you know, to be a part of your production when I could, I thought, okay, the onset of that is going to be, you're going to say like, wow, well, that person's a jerk, but no, it was actually pretty brutally honest, and I appreciated that honesty after I took a moment to think about it, because full disclosure, he's saying, hey, I could leave your set because I got to make money over here if the phone rings, and again, that was a thing that I had never thought of in those terms, or the way that he stated it. Christina, kudos, yay,
yeah.
Kudos, big time. What more can we?
Is there anything to add? Oh, there's another little bug.
There's always going to be something to add. Amber, you want to do another one of these days?
Yeah. I've enjoyed this. Like, yeah, for sure. We'll do. We have other topics. I think we discussed that. Yeah.
Oh, we have tons
plenty,
of other topics.
Plenty of other things we wanted to talk about, but. Next time.
And that's the whole point. Thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in, because
thank you guys.
As the storytellers, as the filmmakers, as the talent in front of as well as behind the camera, I mean, it's important for me to talk about the things no one else is talking about. One thing I always like to emphasize with FILMspiration is I am not here to tell you how to Steven, hey.